Going through Crunchyroll.com, you'll notice there are a lot of anime with great looking costumes, but what if you love Kimono and want to know the best anime for seeing waifuku on your screen? Here are 24 anime that I think kimono lovers will enjoy. These are anime you can watch free anytime thanks to live streaming on Crunchyroll.com. Look for links in the description. Anime on Crunchyroll tend to be subtitled rather than dubbed. Many find this to be great for learning Japanese and enhancing the knowledge they already have. It's also often felt that dubbed anime have to change the dialogue quite a bit to make things fit, so meaning gets lost in translation. While I was looking, I noticed there are specific genres of anime that tend to feature kimono, and so I'll go through each of these categories with you. Soon you'll be having some viewing fun. The first kind is historical, usually based around the Shinzengumi in Japan's Meiji era. This part of history is often written about and depicted in film since it relates to the last remaining samurai in Japan. I can't personally verify how historically accurate the anime based upon this era are, but there are clues you can look for. It's important to remember that many of the bright colours we take for granted today in our clothing were much harder to produce and maintain in olden times, so quality historical dramas will tend to choose a sedate colour palette, while less historical shows will tend to have outlandish and brightly coloured sets and costumes. But some of these anime will squeeze in colour wherever they can, without being totally historically irresponsible in order to reach a happy medium. Crunchyroll anime based around historical events include Hakouki-reimeiroku, Edo Nekoe Jubei Otogisoshi, Brave 10, Nobunaga Concerto, Gifu Dodo, Kangetsugu and Keiji, Utakoi, Dororo Motion Magazine, Gintama, and Mushibugyo. While this genre will often contain some supernatural themes, the ultimate objective seems to be about sharing Japan's most significant historical periods and events with the younger generation. Another genre that increasingly involves traditional dress typically involves a group of people who participate in an activity or hobby that compels them to wear kimono, since the activity is closely related to traditional patriotism. A good example is Hanasaku Iroha, where a group of teenage girls work in a traditional Japanese holiday spa called an onsen. Since they wear their kimono as uniforms, they are very simple for the most part, but we are rewarded with information about how different kimono function as part of a career. Other anime in this category include Rowdy Sumo Wrestler Matsutaro and HaNaYaMaTa. The genre can be comedic or it can be serious and sedate. I recommend looking through and seeing what you feel comfortable with. The next category of anime that often includes some traditional dress seems to be directed towards educating modern young people about the rich narrative traditions and mythologies of Japan's history. They usually include a young protagonist who ends up somehow surrounded by mysterious creatures and has to adapt to their presence. It's interesting to note that while these spirits will sometimes be translated as gods, they are very different to what modern Christians might think of as God. These creatures usually have a very specific physical appearance, no inherent values or motivations, no natural relationship with humanity, and usually come with their own set of specific strengths and weaknesses, with none of them being all-powerful and all-knowing. They also seem to create a lot of nuisance, since they rarely have it in mind to help humans. Crunchyroll anime in this category include Hozuki no Reitetsu, Kogure Kokkuri-san, Natsume Yujin-cho, Natsume Yujin-cho Shi, Mushi-Shi, Folktales from Japan, Yona of the Dawn, Rin-Ne, Cat God, The Eccentric Family, and Otome Yokai Zakuro. The art quality and tone in this genre can vary wildly, but most tend to be comedies with some romance and family drama to pad out the storylines. If you like Hakabaki Taro or Ah My Goddess, you'll probably enjoy these anime. The last anime I want to mention is harder to categorize. It is called Tono to Issho Season 2. and seems to be based on a traditional form of Japanese comedy, which is sometimes acted out today. The show features many beautiful and interesting traditional costumes, and is well worth watching, if only due to the fact that famed Japanese pop musician Kamui Gakti makes a vocal cameo. When it comes to anime, I personally tend to be very fussy. Having watched so much of it as a child, I tend to desire a high level of sophistication in art quality that doesn't look too computer generated, likable characters, a storyline that isn't too slow, noisy, or confusing, and usually involves some traditional settings, like a feudal Japanese palace. What kind of anime do you like? Will you watch any of the anime I just mentioned? Please like and leave a comment. I hope to see you again.